What's up, Jamers? It's the one Jam, and we are going to be playing Esper Control. And with only one win condition, technically two, but our win condition today is White Sun's Twilight. This one is an X and double white sorcery. You gain X life, make X 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with Toxic Wand, and it can't block. If X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. So not only is this a sweeper to keep us alive in the game and gains life, it also is our win condition by dealing toxic damage with the Phyrexian Mights. Speaking of mites, our other technical win condition is Mirrex. This can add colorless mana or any color if it just came into battle and on the battlefield this turn, and you can pay 3 and tap it to make a 1/1 Might token, so you can just keep using this over and over again, making a bunch of mites and killing our opponent that way. This is a Mindsplice Apparatus deck as well, so we are playing a bunch of X spells like March of Otherworldly Light, Syncopate, March of Wretched Sorrow, and we can play Silver Scrutiny for a bunch of draws. There is, Shield or Depopulate in the formats. We are playing a couple Memory Deluge to kind of hedge against that, Depopulate, Union of the Third Path, and Farewell to save our lives, and kill Planeswalkers with Void Rend and March of Wretched Sorrow, and hope to not die once again with cards like Go for the Throat in here as well. So a bunch of removal spells, a bunch of sweepers, a bunch of life gain, and try not to die before we win with White Sun's Twilight tokens and Mirrex tokens. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the matches. Subscribe to the channel if you do want to see more standard best of one content like this, and it all starts right now. All right, we go first. We mulligan our hand, not what we want to be, but we do have a hand of a counterspell and a couple of removal spells, a couple lands, so we're good to go. Our opponent's on mono white, could be mono white mid-range. We have 5 lands in hand. Our opponent casts a wedding announcement, perfect time for Syncopate. Now, we're going to play our 4th land. We have 3 removal spells, so we're probably going to want to draw into a Mindsplice Apparatus. We draw a card. They cast, it's a Wandering Emperor. Well, I guess we have March of Otherworldly Light to deal with the 2/2, and potentially the March of Wretched Sorrow to deal with the Wandering Emperor. We draw a land, we play the March of Wretched Sorrow on the Wandering Emperor, killing it. We have a card advantage spell in our hand now, so we are good to go. They attack with the 2/2. They pass the turn back onto us before casting a Wedding Announcement. That makes a 1/1. We draw our Might Maker, White Sun's Twilight. We're going to plan to draw 3 cards at their end step if we don't have to kill anything else with March of Otherworldly Light. They cast a Mondrak Glory Dominus. Well, we're going to have to use our March of Otherworldly Light here. We don't really have another choice. Would like to draw cards, but kind of have to get rid of that, especially since it exiles. We draw Mindsplice Apparatus. Perfect time to pass the turn. Cast our Mindsplice Apparatus. We do have to take some damage to do so, though. They attack for 3. We take the 3 damage, of course. What are they going to do? Cast a Reckoner, Bank Buster. We are going to probably just, cast our Mindsplice Apparatus, get our game plan going. They draw a card. Let's see what they're going to do. They also use Roadside Reliquary to draw 2 cards. Flip that Wedding Announcement into Wedding Festivity. Go to our turn. We draw another copy of Go for the Throat. We could Go for the Throat these tokens. It's not really a big deal, though, so we're just going to draw some cards with Silver Scrutiny. X equals 4. We draw 4 cards, player land drop. We draw a bunch of cool toys. We have Void Rend, we have March of Otherworldly Light, we have a Syncopate. We can even use Syncopate for X equals 1 to counter anything we want to. They cast Elspeth Resplendent. How are we going to deal with this? We can't counter that yet. They're going to attack us for 5. They put a 1/1 counter on the 2/2, making it a 3/3, and choose Flying. They're going to attack us for 6. All of a sudden, we're going down to 8. Our Syncopate is not going to do much against this Elspeth Resplendent. Neither is this March of Otherworldly Light, but we draw Silver Scrutiny again. We choose to Void Rend the Elspeth Resplendent because we can't really let that get out of control, and minus again to get more threats onto the battlefield. Since we have Mindsplice Apparatus and a couple things to do, they draw a card with Bank Buster, and we pass the turn. They go to their turn, play a land drop. They play another Mondrak Glory Dominus. We're not going to counter this one since, we can only Syncopate for X equals 4 at the moment, and they have 4 extra mana. They crew the Reckoner Bank Buster and get in attacking for, 6 plus 5, 11. We have 8. We're going to exile the Reckoner Bank Buster with March of Otherworldly Light, and we're going to take 6 damage, but what we can do is try to kill the Mondrak. Please sacrifice the 2 tokens. Please sacrifice the 2 tokens. we save 6 damage this way. We'll have to deal with the Mondrak on a later time, maybe draw another March of Otherworldly Light, but please save us 6 damage. They choose to save the Mondrak, and we save 6 damage. Cast Wedding Announcement. This is a perfect time for our Syncopate for X equals 1. We draw a turn, but we are in trouble. They have a 5/5 Indestructible, and the only things we have destroy creatures. So we draw cards with Silver Scrutiny to try to get out of it. We don't get out of it. Everything on our hand destroys. And this thing is indestructible. It's going to attack. We're at 8 life. We have to take it and go to 3. What are they going to cast? They are going to cast Farewell just for artifacts and graveyards. They get rid of our Mindsplice Apparatus, but good thing we have another one. We cast this. We're in danger. We draw another land. 5/5 Indestructible coming in for game, so we have to fire off the White Sun's Twilight to go back up to 10, but we're in trouble. One more attack from Mondrak means they win the game. We have to draw. We draw Otawara. Otawara can bounce the Mondrak. We get in for 7 damage, and that is poison. All we have to do is bounce this Mondrak and see what happens. We bounce the Mondrak back to the hand, and what happens? They draw a card with Roadside Reliquary. Okay, this could only be good things for us. They cast Anointed Peacekeeper, and they scoop! Oh my goodness, that Otawara was awesome. All right, on to match number 2. We have Mindsplice Apparatus, a couple of removal spells, a Farewell, and 3 lands. Just what I like to see. Start out with the Darkslick Shores. They play a black-green land and pass. They're playing Abzan. Shigeki comes down. I don't want him to ramp, so let's go for the throat this. We have 2 land drops. We have Mindsplice Apparatus. We have a draw spell. This is looking good for us. They play a 3rd land and Old Rutstain. No counterspell in our hand, so it resolves. They get a 1/1. We draw another Mindsplice Apparatus. They get a treasure token by milling a land. They attack with their 1/1 out of fear of the Wandering Emperor. They play Melira, which is pretty good against our deck since we do have a lot of mites attacking. We cast our Mindsplice Apparatus, but we're not too worried about it since we do have this Farewell in our hand. That will be 4 mana to cast next turn. Old Rutstain mills another land, giving them another treasure. They have Ratadrabic of Orborg, which would be a real big problem if it wasn't for this Farewell in our hand. So we get that second Mindsplice Apparatus down because we're not into too much pressure. We reduce our Farewell to 3 mana. We draw a land, we play it. We don't spend too much time before we cast this Farewell. This is a slam dunk Farewell. We also have March of Otherworldly Light and Silver Scrutiny in our hand, so I mean, I'm not going to spare you too much of this match since this is basically already over. They cast Shield with the Apocalypse. No worries, we pay 3 mana to deal 5 damage and gain 5 life, killing the Shield with the Apocalypse. We have another Silver Scrutiny. We fire this off and draw our entire deck, and our opponent scoops. Easy peasy. All right, on to the next one. We have 3 lands, a Witness the Future, a White Sun's Twilight, and a Void Rend. So we're good to go. This is a keepable hand. We play our tap land, we go back and forth playing our land drops, and our opponent plays the Blood Tithe Harvester. They make a blood token, we make a land drop. We notice we don't have a 4th land, so we kind of have to Witness the Future to try to get one. We get a Shattered Sanctum, and our opponent goes ahead and plays a land as a Darkslick Shores, plays a Fable the Mirror Breaker, and attacks for 3. I think for a long time on this one, because I want to get our Mindsplice Apparatus down, but I decide to sweep the board since I don't want their board to develop out of control. They discard a removal spell on a land, play another land tapped, and play a Wandering Mind, which gets an Abrade. Abrade is a really bad card to see for us since it does kill our Mindsplice Apparatus, so we're just going to plan on either potentially sweeping the board or getting down Mindsplice Apparatus while they're tapped out. They play Invoke Despair, and I think forever on this, and I decide not to syncopate it just so I can get our Mindsplice Apparatus down while they're tapped out, and potentially syncopate the Abrade. I want to leave 1 mana up for Syncopate just in case they play a spell before they play Abrade. We play that Farewell, and they decide to play Abrade first, so we can't Syncopate it. They follow that up with the Shield with the Apocalypse. I don't Syncopate that again since I do have this Void Rend in my hand, and I'd rather Syncopate a non-creature that I can't kill with White Sun's Twilight or that copy of Void Rend. They cast a Wandering Mind. They get another card of their hand, another Invoke Despair. You know what happens when you play Grixis. They draw so many Invoke Despairs. They'll play Corpse Appraiser, exiling their Blood Tithe Harvester out of the graveyard, getting a brand new card from their deck, milling over another Blood Tithe Harvester. We play our land, we go White Sun's Twilight for 1 billion. We have 6 tokens because we know they have Invoke Despair in hand, and we want to make sure we get 5 and 5 for Toxic Lethal. They play Blood Tithe Harvester, make a blood token with their last available mana. We draw a land, not looking pretty, but we go ahead and chump attack, giving them 4 poison just so we can hopefully get there with these tokens. They cast Invoke Despair, and just as planned, we get to syncopate this copy of Invoke Despair by going X equals 4. They follow that up with another Corpse Appraiser. Why do all of their cards gain additional cards? They have Corpse Appraiser, so many cards. We top deck Memory Deluge, which is broken, but we do get a land and a Syncopate. That's not what we're looking for. We also don't have enough lands to cast Memory Deluge out of the graveyard. We can't even syncopate the Shield of the Apocalypse because they have a lot of mana left over. We go ahead and draw a card just to see if we draw an answer to Shieldred. We have to cast Memory Deluge to try to draw an answer. We have so many answers in this Memory Deluge, but they killed our Mindsplice Apparatus. So all we do is cast March of Otherworldly Light for fun and try to get out of this match as fast as possible. With that loss out of our head, we go up against Mono Red. We have our Raffine's Tower on turn 1. They play Kumano Faces Kakazan. They always have it on turn 1. It triggers. They play Phoenix Chick. I think about syncopating it for a second, but they can just pay for it. They play a second Phoenix Chick. This is where I'll fire off the Syncopate. Not really much else to do in this matchup besides counter a burn spell, and Phoenix Chick's going to get a lot of damage in. They still have a 2-2 Phoenix Chick and a 2-2 Kumano Faces Kakazan. I play a land. I pass the turn. They attempt to attack us here for 4. I think about it for a second. I March of Otherworldly Light on the 2-2 just so they can't get it back out of the graveyard on future turns. We have Mindsplice Apparatus in our hand, so we can go ahead and pass the turn and plan on casting Mindsplice Apparatus. They Lightning Strike us in the face and play with Fire us in the face. Scry to the top. This can't be good. They cast a Chandra, Dress to Kill. This really can't be good. We have to get our Mindsplice Apparatus down, so we do that. Our Go for the Threat goes for 1 mana. We play our land. We play our Memory Deluge, go for 3 cards. We get another Memory Deluge and a land, so no more removal spells here. We do have this Farewell in our hand that can come in handy, but we're getting dangerously close to losing. They fire up the Mishra's Foundry. They attack in for 4. We have to go for the throat to 2-2 since we can't go for the throat the artifact land. We draw another land, which is not good. We cast another Memory Deluge. We get 2 more lands. Not going to help us out. We do have this Otawara. We'll see if it comes in handy. They always have the second Lightning Strike, putting us to 3. They try to look at the top of their deck. They get a land. They fire up Mishra's Foundry. We have the Otawara for it. We need life gain so we don't lose to another Lightning Strike. We have the top deck. What are we going to do? We'll draw... That's a White Sun's Twilight. That's all the life gain we need. We play our land. We cast White Sun's Twilight for a lot. We gain life up to 11, and we'll see if this can hold. It holds, and we beat Mono Red. All right, Jamers, thank you very much for hanging out, watching us destroy people with little might tokens. Hopefully you want to play something like this, or play something similar, or play this list. It'll be down in the description below. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, peace.